What is up, everybody? It is Gandhi just back here with another reaction. And fuck Suzy Lou! Fuck her and everything she stands for! Fuck her reactions! No, I'm kidding. Um, Imagine I start just like foaming at the mouth. Nah, fuck it, I'm not gonna do that. Fuck it. This reaction isn't to send hate to Suzy Lou or to anybody else who gave her hate. This is just something that was on my mind, and I decided to make a video about this. I already did it, but I gotta re-record it because my mic wasn't plugged in, and that's such a bitch. Oh my fucking gosh, I'm so pissed about that. It's like two fuck ups right after my Inuyasha reaction. It's just got fucked in the ass too. Oof. But anyway, the point of this video again is not to send hate to either one of them. Moving on to the point. I really hate it when, particularly reactors, but this could apply to YouTubers in general as well. My eyelashes are like coming out of my eyeball. Oof. Ugh. Anyway, I hate it when reactors and YouTubers, whenever someone in their own community starts to get hate, they just hop on the bandwagon. Like, literally, they just hop on the bandwagon, and they don't really care to inspect the little details. Now, I know I'm probably going to get hate for this video already, but before you do it, just watch through in case you've already developed a bad opinion about this video. Maybe it won't change your opinion. Maybe you'll still have the same opinion. But if you want to like the video, leave a like. If you guys dislike the video, please leave a dislike. It's cool either way. Just be honest with it. I'm cool. But as I was saying, I remember when Suzy Lou was getting the hate, there were so many reaction channels that were coming out like, "Oh, fuck Suzy Lou! It's cause of her that we're having all this hate. It's cause of her that the whole reaction community is getting fucked up and shit." You know, I'm like, I just sat back and I'm like, cool, but you do the same thing that she does. You can't point a finger at her because you're just as guilty as her. You're being a hypocrite. I mean, she's a hypocrite too. By all means, I'm not simping for Suzy Lou, but I didn't like it how the community, the reaction community, turned their backs on Suzy Lou when she needed help the most. I think, at least. That was the time when the reaction community should have came together. I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole reaction community would have likely fell apart if they helped her out. But it would have been more honorable, in my opinion, at least. It would have been more honorable. Actually, if they had helped her out, the community would have been fucked up pretty bad. Yeah, the community would have been fucked up pretty bad because it was getting pretty bad. It died down particularly because nobody helped her out, and she was the main casualty. But she's building herself back up anyway. She didn't suffer too much. But I was gonna say here that Suzy at the time, the reason why she got hate, I think, was because she sent a copyright strike or a copyright claim to someone, and with that copyright claim, it was not well received by the community, and everyone decided to go on strike for that person, which I think is a very good move. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But eventually, because of the hate she was getting, she apologized. She did apologize, and she retracted whatever was on that guy's account. After that point, the damage was already done. So by that point, everybody, not just that person's fans or the community, now other YouTubers and everybody started getting involved, and they started giving her hate and criticizing her. Both hate and honest critique. I don't think there's a problem with honestly critiquing someone. The critique wasn't a problem, but the insults were starting to get very nasty, and I don't think that's debatable. The insults were getting quite nasty, and I remember like the Quartering or even Tipster to an extent, everybody out there was saying some very mean stuff. And afterwards, when they got slapped for it by Suzy Lou, they were kind of like, well, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Your boyfriend's a cock. Your boyfriend's a cock. And yeah, it was kind of bad. It was. To be quite frank with you, they were calling him a cuck. That's a pretty nasty insult. And there was other stuff too. dissing her forehead is not a very bad insult. That's child's play. Like, to be real, that's child's play, and it's kind of funny because she does have a big forehead. Like, you can't lie. She has the forehead of Sakura, but yeah, Sakura man. She's the punching bag of the anime community, man. But as for Suzy Lu, she was getting hate at this point, I think, for even breathing. Like, literally everything again, it's partially because nobody had anything to do. Everyone was on lockdown. And she was just getting hate all over the place for not much of any justified reasons. I mean, there are reasons I think that I could that I could critique her on even now. All right? And I could be critiquing myself too. I do full reactions. I could be critiqued very easily. You know, if somebody wants to go dismantle me, they could do it quite easily. You know, so I'm not, listen, we're all human. We are all human. Anyway, moving on. Suzy was getting hate for simply breathing. I remember it got to a point where she made I forgot what it's called, but it's some sort of program that you can start so people could pay you money to talk to you, I think, or get something signed. I'm not quite sure. It's something along those lines. But, you know, I think it's mainly held by, not held, but the main community on there are public figures like Ricky Berwick, Suzy Lu herself, other people as well. Is The Rock on there? I'm not quite sure. I might be wrong about that. I'm not quite sure. And there's also this, like, midget actor and everything. I forgot his name. He's a legendary actor, so it's probably blasphemy that I'm forgetting his name. But I remember at the time she started that, and the quartering was like, and this is not to send hate to the quartering either. All right, I'm gonna critique Suzy Lu in a bit, so don't think I'm simping for her yet, or that I am, or that I will. That I said yet, and I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, the quartering I remember was like, why would you start why would you start this type of a page? Especially, like, he's like, I don't have a problem with you starting the page right now. Like, it's cool that you want to start this page so people can pay you money to talk to you, but why start it now when you're getting all this hate? When he was part of the reason why she was getting that hate, and part of the reason why her boyfriend was being called a cuck. And in my head, I'm like, you damn well know the answer to that. You know the answer to that. And it's obvious. She's trying to profit off of the haters, and she was. She was profiting off of the haters that she was getting. And you know what? Good job. You know, shoot. If you're going to give anybody hate, it's just a smart move that someone should profit off of the hate. I don't think there's a problem with that. Like, by all means. I mean, you might also say, well, then come out and apologize. But I think the action that caused the whole situation to spark, the whole big bang to that situation, was indeed her sending the copyright strike or copyright claim. So how can you give her hate? I mean, how can you really critique her and keep giving her hate, but the situation was already dealt with? That's the thing that I didn't really agree with. And it was kind of like this. I'll kind of sum up this situation like this, how at least I perceived it. Suzy Lu punched an innocent person. She punched, and she was wrong. She punched an innocent person, and she didn't bully them, but she did deal a strike nonetheless. She punched them, right? It wasn't quite bullying because it wasn't happening over and over and over. You know, and I think that's one of the requirements for it to be bullying. Like, for it to specify as bullying, it needs to constantly happen. And people were constantly making videos on Suzy Lu, so I do consider that a bit of bullying. But they started to tone it down, and it became critique when she slapped them upside the head with or her community at least, or someone else on YouTube. I don't know who did it. There's many conspiracy theories about it. You know, or if it was the fucking Illuminati, I don't know. But they got slapped for bullying her, and they stopped bullying her, and they turned it from bullying into critique, and some kept up the bullying, some didn't. Um, yeah, she punched an innocent person, and that innocent person didn't really punch back, but they told everyone else. They told the authorities about it, and let's just say the authorities, meaning the fans, because they hold the most weight. And the fans told everybody else, and then a bunch of people came together, and they punched Suzy Lou for it. And Suzy Lou came over to him with her head down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. you know. And at that point, he was like, okay, fine. All right. I'll take it. And once it was already dealt with, and she's like, all right, well, I got out of that situation without being too badly injured. Then it became out of hand, and then once word, because word kept spreading around, and once the situation was already over, the word was still being spread around as if it was still happening. And at that point, she loses all credibility. People already perceive her as the bully. So now if someone says she does something, they'll just believe that she's automatically doing it, whether she's doing it or not. All needs to take it just for someone to blame her for doing something, and they'll be more inclined to believe it. It's kind of like a broken mirror. Like, even if you fix it, it'll never be the same. And at that point, everyone starts throwing punches at Suzy Lou, and then Suzy Lou, of course, common sense says, these people have never dealt with me. These people weren't in this situation. Why are they punching me? If they're gonna punch me for this, then I'm gonna fight back because I don't know these people. And then she starts punching back at them but in their heads, they're doing what they think is right. They're doing what they think is right. The community. And she's punching back, and they're getting pissed off. They're getting mad that she's punching back. So they get more people to join in, and they start punching her, and she's still punching back. And that's kind of how I thought of the situation. So she wasn't right, but she wasn't quite wrong. You can't put blame on her for fighting back against the people, because she had already dealt with this situation. Allegedly, at least. Allegedly. And the Quartering and them already knew this. They know more about the situation than I think most people on YouTube dealing with the drama did know. I mean, maybe some fans knew more about the situation than even the Quartering, but I'm sure the Quartering knew quite a bit, and not just the Quartering, Tipster, all of them. Leafy's here, a lot of them knew a lot about the situation, and she was getting hate from all these different fan bases, including Leafy's here. She was getting hate from every fan base you can imagine on YouTube. Even 8 Thoughts got involved, and he's a Call of Duty YouTuber. And he got involved, and I was like, what? Even 8 Thoughts is in this? Oh gosh. Yeah, even 8 Thoughts got involved and called her boyfriend a cuck and called her sexy, but he was just trolling. Yeah, he was just trolling. Besides that, the next thing that happened was, she started her page, and of course she started her page because she wants to get paid for her haters to give her hate comments. She wants to get paid for that, and that's cool, that's fine. Then she raised the price. And then I remember the Quartering and everybody came out and Tipster, and they're like, you ain't worth the money, bitch. You ain't worth the money. No, they didn't say anything that was too bad. Because, again, they were flamed for bullying. They were flamed for that. So they were giving honest, polite critique at that point. At that point, it became, it's like, you better not cross the line. And they understood that. They understood this. So they were dealing. Listen, if they thought they were wrong, they would have caused more of an issue about it. Believe me. If they truly knew that they were in the wrong and they had no grounds to they knew that they were wrong for what they did, and that's why they changed their behavior. That's why they changed their behavior into it being not bullying. But by this point, the damage is already done. Suzy Lou just had her mind closed off. She did not want to listen to them at all. That's how I perceive it. She didn't want to listen to them whatsoever. She had already been attacked constantly, and she was pissed off. And I view Suzy Lou as someone who does have a this is where I'm not simping. I think she does have a narcissistic perception of herself, and I do think that she, in general, she views herself a little bit too high, and I do think that she doesn't like being told that she's wrong, and she doesn't like being critiqued or bullied. She especially doesn't like being bullied, but she also does not like being critiqued as well, because critique could lead to bullying. But who cares? Who cares? You're on the internet. Grow up. Who cares? If you get bullied, so what? You'll survive. People will forget about it in at least a year, if we're being like really like nihilistic and all of that. A year, if we're not being generous at all. So the quartering obviously knew, and so did Tipster. They knew why she raised the price. It's to profit off of the haters. They knew this. It's debatable whether they were trying to send her more haters so she could profit more, or whether, because that would mean them just playing into her hands, but for their own cause as well. One can argue that they played into her hands because it was kind of like, you profit off the haters and I profit as well with a good opinion about myself for standing up for what's right, quotation marks. Now the quartering stopped when she released that whole I think it was potential suicidal intentions and all of that. I think they misunderstood. She released a video about Jiraiya, a reaction to Jiraiya's death, which was a fire reaction, and they mistake that for her doing suicide or something, like not doing suicide, but like planning on suicide or something, or having suicidal intentions because of them, and they gave her flack for that too. And then Tipster was like, Tipster released an emotional video, and then Suzy Lu kind of released another post laughing at the haters all over again. And they used that as further fuel for the fire. And I was just shaking my head like, neither of these sides can win. Neither of these sides are winning here. Both of them, once she's losing because she was losing subscribers. And she was getting a lot of hate, to be quite frank with you. I think she's starting to build herself back up again now, though. But anyway, yeah, both sides were just being quite illogical, in my opinion. Both Tipster, not both, because I'm saying both, but it's more than two sides. All the sides that were giving her hate were being illogical, and they knew they were being illogical because they're not dumb people. They're smart. They are smart. It's all competition, and this is what I hate about YouTube. It's all competition. There's rarely any friends that you have in this community. It got so crazy in the whole reaction community that the reactors, from a certain perspective, had a reason to be afraid, because the voice actors for characters that Suzy Lu was reacting to started getting involved into the situation, and that was frightening, because it was like, if people in high places are starting to get involved, I don't know, both Suzy Lu and the people hating against her, they're causing another YouTube apocalypse right now. They are literally calling for another apocalypse. Because it wasn't just Suzy Lu, it was them even going against Suzy Lu as to why another apocalypse would show itself again, all over again. Both sides were at fault here, not just Suzy Lu. And sadly enough, Suzy was the only one getting hate for this. But it was both sides, because they were the ones notifying these animation studios about Suzy Lu reacting to these different animes. It was them notifying these studios. So they know this. Again, they know this, but eliminating the competition, what they won't tell you, is more important than the prosperity of YouTube itself. They would rather eliminate the competition more than anything else. That's very sad. Again, this is just a testament to the landscape that YouTube is right now. It's just so selfish. Everyone here. Not only that, but the voice actors in the studios were getting pissed at Suzy Lu. And when they look into it, they were coming across more people. But they probably just didn't want to... They probably were very generous, and they just didn't want to drop the ban hammer as of yet upon the whole community. When, they didn't want Suzy to be the cause for the whole community's death, probably. And reactions do help channels prosper, and they do help the prosperity of certain animes, and they do revive animes and all of that. Despite contrary belief that many people tell you that they don't. They do. And I think that's why they allow a certain amount of reactions on YouTube. Because they know that it does help them out. Inevitably, it does help them. That's why they allow it. But they just deal enough copyright strikes to make you feel like it's taboo that you're doing it. That's what I feel. There are rarely people who are genuine, who maybe really want other people to prosper on YouTube, want to prosper themselves, but do want other people to prosper as well. A lot of times, everyone here is at each other's throats. They'll smile in your face, and they don't really mean it. And that's a sad thing about YouTube. YouTube just changes on a consistent basis, and it's becoming more of a business as every day goes on. And the same can be said about Suzy Lu. I haven't seen her collaborate with other YouTubers and really, collaborate with other reactors. She's in a community. Like, she has enough popularity, I think, where even before she got the hate, she could have possibly collaborated with people like Super Mecha Freeze or whatever, got in contact with them, but she doesn't. And it's very self-serving. I mean, you might say the same thing for me. Why don't I do that? Well, I have 195, almost 200. Let's say it's 200 subscribers. I don't have a big base. I'm not getting in contact with any people to do that, and I don't have the time. Next thing is that, but I'm sure she has the time. I'm sure she has the time, and she would profit off of that even more. But again, her included, everybody in the community, not everybody, but most people, 90% of the people in this community are very self-serving, and arguably they could say that that's all right. And I say, fine, yeah, that's all right. I won't say it's good, but it's all right. Shoot. It's something that I'm upset about. But just because I'm butthurt about that doesn't make me correct. It doesn't. Being honest. I wish it was different, but it's all good in the hood that it isn't. Sadly, from my perspective. Now, with Suzy Lu, here's where she fell off the map and she started to become very, I'm kind of like, I don't agree with her. After her boyfriend was being called a cuck for all this time, she starts releasing posts like this. What? I mean, don't get me wrong, this is gangster. This post here, I'm going to read this for you guys. Remember when, as if you guys can't read. Remember when the drama channels lied and told you I was being sued for reacting to anime? That was funny, right? It was. Well, I thought I'd make it into a t-shirt, and they knew it, and a lot of these other people knew she wasn't being sued for that. They knew that. They knew it. They knew that for a fact. All right. They were just adding fuel to the fire because they wanted to possibly end the competition. Because reactions were creeping up and they weren't doing reactions and they didn't really want that. They didn't want to be, to have another source of competition for them. That's what I believe. Because this whole thing is competition and they do not want competition, because the more competition that arises, the more that YouTube gets oversaturated. I mean, YouTube wants it to be oversaturated. YouTube wants more users. But the more oversaturated it gets, more content creators are going to start standing up against the competition, because they don't want YouTube to create higher standards to get paid more and all of that, or start lowering their paycheck because there's more people and all of that. They don't want that. They don't want that, and that's why people are coming up with other extra sources and other means of getting paid, because YouTube is going to start paying a lot less for their content, and they're already becoming more strict about their content. So that's one of the main reasons that I believe that they were attacking Suzy Lu. They didn't want competition. And then after they attacked her, it kind of became a mutual, I don't know how to describe it, but kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like a negative sort of benefit between the both of them. A positive for them, giving hate to Suzy Lu, and negative benefit for Suzy because she's getting hate, but she's also profiting off of that hate. And again, they knew that. Because these are big YouTubers who, listen, I don't check my analytics, but these are YouTubers who obviously check their analytics. They analyze their fan base deeply, and they decide to make content based on their fan base. They do that deeply. I don't. I care about you. I care about my subscribers and my fan base, but I'm not only out here for views. I do it for views 100%, 110%, 200%, infinity percent. But as if that makes any sense. But I also do this for fun. A lot of them also simply do it to profit as well. That is their source of income, their fans. And that's fine, but yeah. If you're not having fun, you're not living. But that is funny. Where's the lawsuit? This is a gangster post. I left a post like a month ago. Like I told her, like in the comment section, that is gangster. This is there's exactly 100 comments. That's quite interesting. Is there like a limit on the amount of comments a post can have? I don't think so. Nope, there is no limit. It just has 100 comments. It's quite interesting. But yeah, what an interesting number to land on. It was a gangster post though. But then here's where I'm not gonna sim. She starts releasing posts like this. When her boyfriend was being called a cuck, and her boyfriend was having all this hate, she clearly did not care. She clearly only cared about herself, and this is what I mean by she's selfish. She starts releasing posts like this because she wants some more attention. And on YouTube, you need to be an attention whore by all means. Being an attention whore is not like wrong. You need to be an attention whore, sadly, in this landscape to survive. But do keep in mind that it's just. But this though, your boyfriend was called a cuck, and now you're releasing. I don't want to say they're not nude photos. But these are the type of photos that Bella Delphine would put on her OnlyFans. You start releasing, look at this. A little VAD shot. A little VAD shot right there. I mean, this is okay. See, if I had a girlfriend and she released something like this, I'd be suspicious, but I'd be like, okay, I wouldn't. I would be maybe a little insecure, but I wouldn't be overly against it. I would be like, okay, I'll accept it. I'll still wait and see how things are going to see what you're posting, but like, I'll let it slide. Whatever. Something like this isn't too bad. It's being cute. It's sexy, but it's being sexy and cute. This isn't too bad. This is purposely accentuating the thighs, but this itself isn't too bad. This is okay, but yeah, this is also still being sexy, but it's okay. These ones are obviously child friendly. But this isn't child friendly. This is obviously being sexy. This I'd have a problem with, and this I'd definitely have a problem with. Like, what is the and this is being sexy. This one I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have an opinion on this one because this is obviously trying to be badass and sexy at the same time. So this I wouldn't have a problem with this because this is obviously more badass and sexy at the same time. But this is obviously just sex appeal. This just screams sex appeal. She is luring her fan base in to get these views. Look at 407 comments. Her fan base had hard-ons all over the place. Look at this, 541. They had massive hard-ons for her, yo. These are some tier 69 subs. I mean, it's not subs. Tier 69 simps. Look at this. The post where she shows her thighs or where she gets the most comments. And it's just sad that she decided to resort to this. Especially when her boyfriend was being called the cuck. She probably had a conversation with him and asked him, are you all right with this? But to even think of that after her boyfriend was just because he was also getting hate too, a lot of hate. To me it's just she's selfish as well. She really is selfish, but I get it. You do what you do. You do what you can to get money. But she had more than enough money, and she's getting more than enough money, even right now, and even when she was getting the hate, she's probably even getting more money when she was getting the hate on top of that. But yeah, until her Patreon got deleted or something, I think. I don't know if it's still deleted or if she made a new one. I don't know, but yeah, this one's all right. Cause this is just beauty at the beach. This one's all right. But yeah, guys, I think Suzy Lou's reactions are epic at times. At sometimes they're kind of like, But I think Suzy Lou, a lot of the time I feel like she's a fake reactor. But at the same time, a lot of the times I feel like she's a good reactor. When she makes a reaction, her reaction is pretty solid. Her reaction is, I think, pretty nice. I don't have a problem with it. So, Suzy Lou, the next thing that people have to keep in mind is that when it comes to YouTube, it isn't all about creating a review that's spectacular, has like the most impeccable editing. Of course, if YouTube had just like, if YouTube had videos that were all just like masterpieces, I think that YouTube would be a very different place. I think I wouldn't say it'd be a better place. I wouldn't say it would be a better place. And the reason why I say that is because it's kind of the real world. We know happiness because we know sadness, right? Well, on YouTube, we know good content because we have iffy content, and we have content that isn't as well made. I'm not going to say crappy content because I believe that's very opinionated to call it crappy content. But yeah, reactions on YouTube are kind of like if you're a reaction channel, you have no say in the matter. Like you are like beta. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You are beta if you're a reaction channel. You are like bottom of the barrel trash. Like you can't say squat to anybody. You know, you essentially lose all credibility in the eyes of your fan base and everyone else. Most of your fan base, not all of them. You know, everyone's gonna have their loyal subscribers as well, depending on their personality and everything. She has a lot of simps, so everyone's gonna be loyal to her based upon her body and her assets. They weren't simping for her before, but now she has simps in her fan base, so people are following her for these type of posts. And I hope hopefully she just stops them completely, because I'm not a fan of that. Well, at least the fact that she has a boyfriend, she's doing that. Maybe he likes it. I don't know. Maybe Steve Joe likes other people looking. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I'm not even trying to be mean. I don't know. No, she most likely had a conversation with him, and he said, "I don't care. Fine, go ahead, do it. I don't care." But anyway, to each their own. Everyone has different morals. Suzy, again, I wish her the best. I wish she gets 2 million subscribers. I hope she gets a lot more views and a lot more money. I'm cool with that. I'm definitely cool with that. But I keep going back as if I'm enjoying these photos, but I'm just like fishing around, to be honest. But I wonder how many subscribers Tito has right now. I'll check it out later. I really don't care. It's not the point of the video. I'll be going off topic if I do that. Yeah, she's still doing reactions. Luckily, her reactions are being very good at times. Reactions don't have to have like an impeccable review at the end of it. If they do, then bravo, awesome, great, keep it going. But if they don't, I don't think that means that you should, start hating on someone because of that, or you should start hating on someone else for enjoying the reaction just because it doesn't have an impeccable or impeccable review at the end of it, or something that like analyzes every little nook and cranny of like symbolism and all of that contained in the episode, whatever. So yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up the video. There isn't much else to say here. Anyway, guys, take it easy, stay awesome, and peace out. Oh, and also like the video if you like the video, and dislike the video if you guys dislike the video. I'm cool with either one, but I appreciate honesty. If you didn't like the video, don't like the video. If you disliked it, go ahead and dislike the button. I'm okay. I'm perfectly fool. I'm perfectly, I said fool. I'm perfectly cool. I mess up my words. I speak as if I don't know freaking English sometimes. Fuck me.
So, until we meet again, stay gold. Bang.